Brothers and sisters, family, as I always say, current subscribers, new subscribers, anybody that view, we are alive and breathing. We are back to conquer another day, another year, and another decade. And I have a message from, that great divine and our great warrior ancestors, brother or sister, that fought through tooth and nail with every fiber of their body. And I'm so appreciative, It's like the more we invest in positive energy and in our families, our children, and being grateful for those who are doing what they have to do to lead us in the right direction. It's wonderful when we in that space, but it's not easy to get to. So whoever listening to this, do whatever you got to do to be a right brother or a sister. Some always say, in the deep depth, righteous spiritual things will come, but it's almost like a focal point. We have to have a right heart. I mean, it's just impossible to see anything right with a wrong, dark, malice, hating, or jealous heart. Anything of that nature is poison. And then, if you don't think so, just keep on living. As I say, who always say that? My grandmother. May she rest in peace and in power. So just be right. And you might as well go through even if you're wrong, you're going to go through things anyway. So why not be right? So this is a message from my great divine and our ancestors, my melanated brothers and sisters. Be that light in our part of the world. I'm gonna stutter sometimes, but that's all right. Be that light in our part of the world, wherever we are. It's something I always say, start right where we are and work our way out, ourselves, family, children, anyone that wants to be uplifted and have some positive energy. Because a lot of things can lead to finally, and I put emphasis on finally, because it's not easy for a lot of us, especially in these times. The more we, come into that light, the thicker things get, so to speak. But what's magnificent about that, even though things become thick, the more we come into our light, the more we can see. So about time things do get thick, it's too late because we're already there. And pat yourself on the back, brother or sister, young or old, that have that light. And only we know. So I don't have to give definitions or nothing like that, but it's good. But really don't have to, because when you have it, you know it. And notice I said that word, no. And I'm just going to give some advice and, some ways, some examples, and share some of my own experiences, how I came into, knowing oneself and not get caught up in our own feelings and seeing the bigger picture and, all those great things that make a general in a brother or sister, young or old. So first off, no one's better, just different. That's something I kind of had to learn. Never compete with one another, especially our fellow brothers and sisters that are really trying to reach and change souls. We all have our own little gifts. Great divine, Mother Nature made us all individuals for a reason. Because I'll say this from time to time. This goes with, developing that light within. And, developing the light, it's just another way of saying just do the right thing, and be a benefit to others the best way we can, even in times when it's not easy. That's what being the light is, when you shine through anything. And it's not always a soft thing either. Being that light is also having, the strength to withstand things that can dim our light, and that can be what? Person, place, or thing. It'll always be person, place, or thing, because these are the things that we are attached to in life. Individuals, social media is the thing and the place. If you really want to look at it, it all goes back to the perception one has, how you look at social media and the way of the world. And what I have learned from like my mom and people in my family, teachers online, maybe in the world, you learn to break things down. So as I have learned and I have taught oneself, I look at life like a noun. I told you I'd be rhyming. So I break it down. So that's what a noun is: person, place, or thing. And that's how you become a good analyzer. Not over analyzing, but analyzing just enough, to see, to have that art of anticipation. You learn that when you come into that light. But most things you can hear from us, and it's good to have teachers. And the reason why Great Divine has us being teachers. Remember, teacher could be anywhere. It's not just someone standing on the podium, but that's good too, especially if they're right within, deep within. That's good too. But a teacher can be anywhere. That's something else we learned when we. And I'm kind of most of us know this, but I'm talking about like people who are like coming into maybe those who are coming out of religion. That is kind of a, I don't know how to put it, almost like a gray area because you're so used to the same way of thinking and being taught and stuff. Because I went through that, that first step out of religion, that's when you kind of, it's not that you're lost, but it's like, okay, what God I look forward to now? The same God you've been looking to. It's the same God that always have been with us. The real God now, quotation marks. It's just that we all say, it's nothing I'm saying that most of us don't know already. That as we know this. We hear time and time again. And I talked about it a few podcasts ago, I think a couple of days ago. Religion blinds us from the real God spirit within. That's what it does. But I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to go too far. A lot of us talk about that. So I don't want to sound like I'm regurgitating nothing or nothing like that. But it's the truth. And this is something I have experienced. So when you have experienced it, you'll come into, as I heard many great brothers and sisters, but this one main brother that I learned this from, you come into knowing. And it's wonderful when we know. Remember, we know what we know, but we be humble about the things we don't know. And that's another way of developing that good light, accepting who we are and don't get in a high horse. We know our gifts. We know what we're capable of. We don't have to prove anything or push anything. And something else, I think, my opinion, that makes for having that good light, brother or sister, family member, could be a child. Remember, it could be anywhere. Anybody can be a teacher, can teach somebody or learn from someone. And this is something else that's important. Listening. This was a kind of a challenging area for me. And I spoke on this, my son, Lord Lamont. And I just got a message from him about 5 minutes ago because I sent them I'll finish what I was going to say. But I sent them I shared that podcast I did about him, had Lord Lamont on the thumbnail and the banner. And it was called Young Brothers Step Into Your Divine Self. And I sent that to him because it was mostly dedicated to him, but it was for all young brothers. But I dedicated to him because he was dealing with a challenge. He good now. He just got to stay with it and maintain. So I've been trying to support him and, tell him positive things and keep positive things in his ear, and just keep it so he can keep his chin up, because, it's hard to deal with emotions and going through things, because a lot of things go through our mind, shame and all that kind of stuff. You'll be careful of those things. Those are negative thoughts, It's just a stepping stone and a lesson. Move forward. Don't get stuck on it, As I said on the other podcast, my mom said, that's the first freaking step. A lot of us say this. That's the first freaking step to conquering the challenge, is accepting we have one. That's when we truly are ascending, when we can accept. And I don't care what it is. As long as it's not, if it's going to hurt ourselves or hurt someone else, please work on it, please. Because we don't want to have a toxic ripple effect. So that's why we have that light, and a small or big, and welcome to another nature podcast. I forgot to say that. I get in the zone, man, and start talking, and I forget to do that. I like to present that sometimes because that's what's on my banner. It's my neighborhood. And that's why I came up with the title, Be That Light. Be that light whatever part of the world we are, just be that light. Wherever part of the world, Hold on, excuse me for a minute. Yeah, be that light in our part of the world. I was like, I didn't know if I was saying the title wrong. Sorry about that. Hey, human, right? But yeah, and I shared the podcast. I know I'm fumbling, moving around. Excuse me, y'all. I'm a little excited. But yeah, welcome to another nature podcast. And this is my neighborhood right here, and that's what inspired me to say, be that light in our part of the world, because this is my part, but this isn't the end all be all. We can carry that energy out, but again, we start right where we are. And it does set the tone in your neighborhood when you speak to your neighbors, say, hey neighbor, and it just makes things interactive, and it sparks things, it sparks things in people when you're positive and you say positive things to them. You never know what somebody's going through in their mind. That's why it's important to be positive, because you never know who we're changing might stop them from doing something they shouldn't do. And you just, so that's why, because I've had moments where might had kind of a stagger in my thought and wanted to back up. And, it could be a child that inspire you, anybody, and it'll lift you up. So that's what inspired me to give out as much positive energy through all this mess out here. Real talk. So go back to my son. That's why I sent him that video about himself. Like I said, he just messaged me a little while ago, so he's doing good, and that's great. But got to maintain it, though. We get to that success state of mind, but we have to maintain it. That's another thing we need to know about keeping that light. Don't let nothing put it out, and discernment will come. When we connected to that God force deep within, discernment will come. It will be seventh nature, real talk, because I don't say second nature no more, because that's another thing we need to learn about having that light. Those who are coming into it, like I said, that's like fresh out of religion and the old way of thinking, stay with it, and cling to that divine force, whatever you find. But we always have that God force within. Melanated brothers and sisters, it's in our DNA. We just gotta know how to, know what it is, understand it, use our powers for good, and good will always come back, but it never comes right away. It depends on who you are as an individual. Because I like to say, just my little theory, Mother Nature, great divine, knows us better than we know ourselves. So just remember, when we're on a righteous path, sometimes we might not can see things. That great divine is our light. Always have been and always will be. So we just got to blend in with it, embrace the little, sometimes weird things we come across, because we're going to come across that. Because we're not supposed to understand a power that's greater than us. It always going to know best. You know what I mean? That's the one being that can say they know everything. So that's that force we trust in. I'm talking about that divine that stop us from doing something wrong, that give us that empathic ability to help someone. That's the guy we're listening to. You know what I'm saying? The one that's deflect us from unnecessary things in the world or social media. And of course, especially social media, because what is toxic on social media can get in our system, and then we'll take it out onto the world. And we see that, and that's something I say time and time again, brothers and sisters. Those who are coming into it, study your impulses, because impulses can get you in trouble. And, as I like to say, just look out over in the world, but especially on social media. And wrong, toxic impulses are off the charts. You know what I mean? Are out of control. So that's where we start. Start with that psyche and start with practicing on watching our impulses. Because an impulse, it can be 3 seconds and mess up your whole life. I've given that example before. That's how dangerous wrong, toxic impulses can be. And this could be a physical impulse. It could be a thought impulse, because a thought leads to action. So we gotta. That's why you got so many of it. That's why you go so many teachers talking about control your mind, because that's where the hardest battles begin, brothers and sisters. I don't give a damn about this shit on the outside. I said this before too. If you cannot fight that battle within, you have already lost. That's real talk. I don't want to sugarcoat that, because why? I have went through it. A lot of us have. Some of us that are at a success state of mind, and I'm not even gonna say challenging. We fought hard to get to this position. So this is why we should have the rule of thumb of not to compare and judge no one, because we don't know what an individual has been through to get to their position, especially those who are righteous. I'm not talking about nobody in fame or that in power, not that shit. I'm talking about just a regular individual, brother or sister, young or old, are in a success state, stable life, and they fought hard to get to it. So we have to appreciate that, So we got to keep that gratitude. And why do we keep all these positive things? Because that great divine and Mother Nature loves positive energy. So the best way we can, family, children, brothers and sisters in the world, or online. I don't care what it takes. Sometimes it's aggressive, sometimes it's subtle. But man, be that light wherever in our part of the world. Salute.